guys, it's Chris in Shonan, and today we are actually not in Shonan. We are in Miura, which is south of Yokohama, south of Yokosuka on the Miura Peninsula, which is the other side of Sagami Bay from where I live in Chigasaki. But why am I here? Maybe you could see behind me all these pink leaves. Well, they're sakura blossoms, and they're what they call early sakura blossoms. And why are they early? Well, obviously because they bloom before the sakura season, which is March and April. For those of you who may be coming, maybe you're going to go to Kyoto or Nakameguro in Tokyo and see rows and rows of sakura blossoms. Okay, so we are here in Kawazu-zakura Park, which is out on the Miura Peninsula. It's a little bit south of Yokosuka, but behind me you can see some sakura trees. Now, behind the sakura trees is a marsh. Now, the marsh has a legend to it. Now, the legend is that there was a woman named Omatsu who worked very, very hard to plant rice. And so the story goes that Omatsu's mother-in-law was this horrible, horrible, mean woman, and she was very, very tough on Omatsu, and she made her work all day to plant the rice in the fields that now make up the marsh. Now, Omatsu worked very, very hard, but she ran out of sunlight, so she prayed for the sunlight to come and give her at least one extra hour. And the legend has it that the sun, as it was setting, rose back up and gave her the time to plant more rice. But it has a tragic end. The tragic end is that the marsh continued to grow and grow and swallow her, actually. So the legend is that Omatsu is in the marsh somewhere behind us here. I don't know how accurate that story is, but it's a local legend, and it's kind of a cool local legend. So, if you're ever out here, you could check this out, and, maybe you could read up on the local legend yourself. So the nice thing about Kawazu-zakura Park is that it is dog friendly. As you can see, I've got both of my dogs with me. Kojiro on the left, and Komachi here is the standard poodle with the pink collar. But they've enjoyed it so far. There's a lot for them to see here. We have seen quite a few dogs, so it is very dog friendly. And you can see over there, it's a whole street that's lined with these early sakura blossoms, and it's very cool. It's not something I even knew existed until recently, but if you're out this way in Miura, you definitely want to come out here. It's only February, and looks like they're not quite in full bloom, but they are in pretty good bloom right now. So this is a pretty cool place, definitely worth checking out. And much to our surprise, there is a whole pack of golden retrievers that just came up. There's like 6 of them, 7 of them here at Kawazu-zakura Park, and Komachi and Kojiro are going to say hello to the golden retrievers. All right, so this park is actually very agricultural. You can see that there's broccoli field right here. It's I don't think I've ever seen a broccoli field, but nice thing here is that there's a lot of places or people that are selling local vegetables, and the big thing here is daikon. So I'm actually going to pick up some daikon and some broccoli, and I'm going to plan on cooking that tonight. Now, I'm not sure. Oh, speaking of daikon, here's some daikon right here. It's growing in this field. I don't know if you've maybe watching, maybe not familiar with daikon. It's Japanese radish, and I'm a big fan. And the last time I was here in Miura, I was out in Misaki, and they had a farmer's market near the water, and in that particular farmer's market they were selling local daikon, and I remember the package. It was very cute. It had a little dog in a hard hat, which I thought was really cute. So if I can figure it out, maybe I'll post a picture of that in the comments. But yeah, so cool. It's a little agricultural. I believe Yokosuka is out that way. So if you're familiar with where the U.S. Navy base is here in Kanagawa, I believe it's that way. But to get to this particular area, this park, you take the train Keikyu line south from Yokohama, and you head to Miura Kaigan, which is the closest station. It's about maybe half a mile walk, 1,000 meters or so. But it's a pretty nice area, and you can see back down there is the marsh where I just told you about the story of Omatsu, and out that way there's a big street, and maybe you can see the whole street is lined with sakura blossoms. These are early sakura blossoms, and they bloom obviously ahead of the other ones that most people are familiar with, but this is a really cool afternoon to come out here if you want to catch a glimpse and maybe escape some of the really big crowds, because it is crowded, but I would imagine that other places are going to be a lot more crowded in March and April. It's pretty cool. You don't really get to see them that often, and this is one of the spots where they have them. Now, they originated on the Izu Peninsula. Now, Izu is in Shizuoka. It's a prefecture directly south of here, and much like in in Kanagawa, it splits, and you head down along a peninsula. Now, this is the Miura Peninsula. The other side of Sagami Bay is Chigasaki and Shonan, where we live, but the same thing in Shizuoka. It actually splits, and one direction you go to Izu, and the other direction heads down towards Nagoya and Aichi Prefecture. But these early sakura blossoms, they're only in a few areas here, and they're in this general vicinity. Okay, so one of the cool things about this area is that's the Keikyu line, and it runs south through the Miura Peninsula on its way from Yokohama. It actually starts a little bit further north than there, but yeah, it's one of the cool things. You can see it basically looks like it's coming out of the sakura blossoms here in Miura. So if you come to Japan in February, you actually don't have to go, well, you can't go to Kyoto to see them because they're not in bloom yet, but you can come to Miura. There's a couple places out in Shizuoka as well where you could check out this special kind of sakura blossom. It's called Kawazu-zakura, which the reason it's got that name is because it was originally started or planted in a town called Kawazu, which is out in Shizuoka on the Izu Peninsula. Now, Shizuoka is a little interesting because it's a bit like Kanagawa, where you head south and it splinters and there's a peninsula. Now, in Kanagawa, we have the Miura Peninsula, but in Shizuoka, you go one direction and you go to Izu, which is where, believe it or not, my mother-in-law is from, or you can go the other direction and you'll start to head down towards Aichi and Nagoya. But you can come into Japan. If you're here in February, you can actually come and check out these early blossoms and get a really cool idea of what it's like to be in sakura season without actually dealing with all the crowds.